Well, Bucks, look like you're having fun out there. Have you put on the old playing boots?
I found these in the boot room, the old 10.5 Adidas Predators. I think they're from my vintage as well. So haven't worn boots for much in the last 4 years. So dusting them off.
How have you settled into the new colours?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's obviously a program that I've respected from afar for a long time. So to be able to get a look under the bonnet and then obviously play a role and contribute where I can is something that I've been energised and excited by. First couple of weeks has been good to get the whole group or most of the group in for the start of pre-season today.
Anything that surprised you coming back into the footy side of things?
I think this group have been successful for a long time. And I suppose it's a little bit, how much onus is on the players themselves to drive their program and their own development, which is something that's been very Geelong. It's been something that I've known about, but to witness that and to see it in practice is, I just think the players have a lot of autonomy and a lot of control on what takes place, which at this early stage is pretty fascinating, to be honest, given that they've been so successful for a long time.
How have you found working with Chris? Or is this someone you would have come up against in the coach's box before?
Yeah, well, Scotty and I have had plenty of conversations over the years, more so in the last month or so. Philosophical conversations with Chris Scott are always fun. There's a lot of grey area in this program. They leave the question hanging. They don't have to come to an answer in the immediate tense, and that provides for a fair bit of creativity. So that's what I have noted and what I'm looking forward to.
What do you hope to bring, Nathan?
I think in the early stages for me, it's really watching and learning and understanding what this program is about and how they piece it together, and then working out where I can provide value from there. So there's probably a little bit of sitting back and observing it into Christmas, and then working out where I think that I can add the most value.
Saying that you've been very hands-on, joining the drills, I think you always were, remembering back to your Collingwood days. Is that the way you like to do it, being in there with the boys, kicking balls, rolling balls?
Yeah, well that's a bit more of the assistant coach's role. I had a laugh with a couple of the boys early in the first session of sort of hands on the back, watching drills or watching training and observing on how it all goes together. Well, you've got to sort of get your hands a bit dirtier than you do as a senior coach. And that's been enjoyable. I've been in footy for a long time. I love the game, and seeing the passion in the players and the staff and being involved in that is something that I've enjoyed at the early stages.
Seeing the big guns back today, players, how, from a coach's point of view, are you going to handle the grand final performance? Have you spoken about that? Do you move on straight away? Do you need to go back?
Well, what I could say in that regard is when we've had all-ins with the match committee or coaching staff, I was probably a bit happy to move on from it a bit quicker than they were, given that I wasn't a part of it. So there were some questions that I threw on the table that maybe they weren't ready to have to approach or to answer a couple of weeks ago. But I've been involved in programs that have gone really well, but you've lost your last game at the pointy end, and that takes a little bit of dealing with. But from what I've seen and what I've gathered, this group are already getting to work and looking forward, and there's nothing that I've seen that indicates that anything this side of Christmas is going to be anything other than preparing and getting better for our next opportunity.
What do you make of this midfield so far? What do you like about it? What are the little areas for improvement you can see? Because obviously we're very close, but there's always room for improvement. Yeah,
well, my standout takeaway from the first couple of weeks is just how athletic this group is. The focus and the investment in that part of the program is significant. very scientific, very organised, and the players take a lot of autonomy and control in that. So Max Holmes, power runner. His brother's come in and shown that already. Bailey's a hard runner. I think that Ollie Dempsey, excellent. Brian Myers. So it's a very good running squad, and Geelong have used that to their advantage in the past, and presume they'll continue to do that in the future.
Sorry, tell us about your relationship with Hunter.
Hunter's. I coached him in I think it was under 12s when I was coaching my eldest. So they were in the same squad, and so I spent a year with Hunter. He was no different to what you see now. A hard runner, can get up and down the ground. He was very in and under as well. Very tough young footballer. He's a lot lankier and a lot taller than he was 6 years ago. So he's shown really good signs already in terms of having a real crack. Some young players can sort of sit on their heels a little bit and watch and wait, but he's thrown himself into it really well.
When the short time starts, any play really impressed you?
I'm not going to individualise. I think across the group they've been really strong already. With an appetite to improve their attributes in the game. There's some guys that haven't played a lot of senior footy in the first couple of weeks that are trying to earn that right to get there. And one thing I think you do know about a Geelong side is they'll give everyone a chance to contribute to the end product, and they're all working towards that pretty well.
There'll be a lot of chat about talent, I'm sure, over the next year for you, Bucks. Where does that relationship sit heading into?
It's not something that I've thought much about in the last couple of weeks. I mean, obviously it's a big week for Tassie Footy Club, and getting that stadium and the licence over the line. So I'm an observer watching that, and I suppose optimistic about what that means for both Tasmania and the competition. But no, I've head down, bum up with the Cats at the moment, mate.
Is that something you're keeping a pretty close eye on? And have you spoken to any of those crossbench MPs who
Haven't done a lot of politicking in the last couple of weeks, and I think I'll leave that to the politicians.
I mean, senior coaching still something that's very much in your framework beyond obviously what you're doing with Geelong this coming year.
Yeah, I don't know. Would I have stepped into this if I didn't want to get back into the main role? I don't think I would have. But this opportunity is. Look, I pinched myself when it came around. It happened really quickly. But yes, I think I determined over the last sort of 18 months, and more so over the last sort of couple of months before this opportunity became available, that I'd love to get back into the team environment. And already the early stages, I'm got a smile on my face to jump out of bed, get involved with a group that are working towards, being better, supporting each other. It's what footy clubs are all about, and I'm loving it.
Have you noticed any significant changes since you left the game to how the game is played now?
Not so much how the game's played. My bones are a little bit creakier than they were 4 years ago. So being able to sort of fill into a drill here or there is sort of started. There's some inflammation that sort of kicked up for me. But no, the game itself, I mean, I suppose the group, as I said, they're so fit, so athletic, cover the ground so well at speed, and that speed endurance is something that really stands out for me. Geelong have put opposition to the sword with that for a long time now, and I think the recruits from this year show that they really put that on a pedestal. So that's probably the standout thing for me walking into this group.
How good is it having Bruhn back amongst the group?
Yeah, I had a few chats with the young fella, and it's obviously been a challenging period for him, and everyone else in the situation as well. I think the club are very circumspect with the way they manage these things, and they're happy to do it in private. But yeah, Tanner's a young man who has the world at his feet, and being able to reconcile, his last 12 to 18 months is something that will be a challenge for him, but something that he'll get lots of support around.
As a coaching group, you mentioned the fitness before, but how much thought and planning has already started to go into a couple of those rule change, last possession out of bounds, and the fact that we know set of bounce next league?
Yeah, that'll be something that'll evolve. When we sort of get into more match scrimmage play, maybe a little bit before Christmas, but more into January and February. So one thing that Geelong have always been able to do is to find competitive advantage in changing the game. So looking forward to being a part of that.
Have you been working with Bailey Smith in the early stages?
Yeah, I've had a few chats with Bailey. He's his first day back today, but most of the senior boys have had time away to recharge and regenerate and be back into it, and he's no different. He's ready to go.